this is just the way the machine has evolved. That woman needs the guy to be the provider, the protector, and the parentally invested, right? Well, if she can do that herself, what does she need this motherfucker for?
Yeah.
Most men that are trying to get into that right relationship struggle. Mm-hmm. You know, because a lot of the women, I feel like, as good as these men are, and that they're trying to be, because we're trying to let go of our past. I feel like the better they are, the more they're attacked by the woman to kind of hold them down. Like, you're not better than me, motherfucker, so don't you think you can do this?
Oh, yeah.
And I know so many men that struggle with this.
Yeah, well, I can explain that to you right away. That's easy. Really, within the last, like, since the sexual revolution, we have systematically conditioned and re-engineered society, for a society of women, I should say, for 4 generations to distrust men. It's simple as that. And it really came with, like, the advent of hormonal birth control. So women had more, they don't have, like, I can have sex and I don't have to worry about getting pregnant, or relatively speaking, worry about getting pregnant with this guy. Or now I have more choices. I can still have sex with this guy, but if he's not the right one, then I've got a fail safe, which is either abortion or I've got hormonal birth control. So that maybe I can get with this guy. You want to know why marriage rates have plummeted since 1971, really? And divorce rates have skyrocketed is because of one thing, which is really the advent of hormonal birth control, the sexual revolution, and all of the social changes that happened in the wake of all of that. One of those changes was the distrust of men, because we're putting women into the workplace, we're putting them into, like, a social structure that's already pre-existing, which was a masculine hierarchy that women now enter into. So the thing is women need 2 things. They need alpha fucks and beta bucks, okay? It used to be that women needed a man for provisioning, protection, and parental investment. Those are, like, sort of the long-term security aspects of what women need for their sexual strategy. Then there's the alpha fuck side. Is he hot? Does he turn me on? Does he lay down the good dick? Is he fun in bed? Is he somebody that I really want his babe? Do I want to have his babies? Yeah. That's the arousal alpha fuck side. The thing is from, say, 1965 all the way up to 2023 right now, women have more or less covered that. They've got provisioning, protection, and parental investment down. And if they don't, the perception is that they do. So they can go and get their own money. I got my own bag. I don't need a man. I want a man, but I don't need a man, even though they actually do need men. But the thing is that there's this pervasive idea that it's all about the want and it's not about the need anymore, because women can provide for their own long-term security. The beta buck side of that has, at least perceptually, been taken care of. So anything that a man could provide for a woman in the long term, whether it's babies or it's provisioning or money, still important. But it's not as important to a woman who's making $500,000 a year on OnlyFans, or she's making her own. She's got the bag. I don't need a man, but I want a man. What is the man she wants? She wants Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
She wants Justin Waller. She wants the guy who's 6 feet tall, 6-pack abs, a big dick, and knows how to use it. Right. That's more or less what women want. But the guy that they need, they don't need that guy anymore, because they can take care of that themselves. It's the long-term security aspect of it. And the problem is when women say, when you have that conflict, it's usually because that woman says, I don't really need this motherfucker. I can get along without him. I can divorce him before I'm 40, and then I can go and like Stella got her groove back, eat, pray, love, that kind of stuff.
I can have a fourth quarter baby.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And so there's always these fail safes and these options that are always there, even from within marriage. So when you see this sort of power struggle, like he ain't all that, he ain't shit, right? That is her saying, I can take care of all the things he's supposed to be taking care of. And when she starts making more money than he does, maybe they started equal and she gets a rise in pay, or she's got a promotion or something like that. That is the number one precipitator of divorce, is when the woman starts making more money than the guy, because it's the independence, but it's also the lack of respect, because the guys that she's working with 40 hours a week make way more money than the guy that is now. Now he's a liability. Now he's a sandbag. Now he is basically another kid, another mouth to feed. Even if he's still making money, he's not making as much as she is. And there is this is just the way the machine has evolved. That woman needs the guy to be the provider, the protector, and the parentally invested, right? Well, if she can do that herself, what does she need this motherfucker for?
Yeah.
So she's all, so the power dynamic gets switched in that. And I think that that's where a lot of the friction between men and women are at right now, because if she can't trust this guy, if she can't trust him to make the money, if she can't trust him to lead in the family, if she can't trust him to be the more dominant partner in the relationship, she's going to fill that role. She's going to be the man. And that's why I keep saying, I've said this on a million different podcasts. I even said this on Dr. Phil. Women have become the men that they want to marry. Yep. So that's why you see there's more and more women aren't getting married at all. And they'll blame it on guys saying, well, guys ain't shit, and I don't want to get with this guy because I already make more money than this guy does, and all I really want to do is fuck Jason Momoa, right? So really what they're doing is they're looking at this, and they've turned themselves into the masculine ideal. I would marry me if I were a woman. Like, that's the whole thing that comes, but they're a woman already, and they've made themselves into a masculine ideal. And so that's why you hear them say, and probably without even really knowing it, is, I don't need a man. I just want a man. I just want a man around to like fuck me and then leave, more or less, is what it comes down to, because she doesn't feel anyways that she needs that guy for anything other than just like her most immediate gratification at that point.
You're no longer suitable for survival.
So that power dynamic right there is, if she can provide for her own long-term security and you can't, now you're just another child and you've been relegated down. You're not the husband anymore. You're now at the level of the kid. In fact, women will say that. Men are just big children anyways. You'll hear that, like female comedians will say this all the time. They're just big kids anyways, like just to demean them. But there's a kernel of truth in that, because they know that the power dynamic is different. I make more money than he does, and so therefore he's dead weight. Well, I don't want dead weight. I want a guy who's hot and has all this other stuff, makes more money than I do. It has to make at least half again what I make. So that's why you're seeing that power dynamic sort of shift, especially in marriages right now. And usually it takes place after someone, like after she gets a promotion.
So consider this concept. Like, again, we're not talking about good or bad. A woman all of a sudden now has the ability to make $300,000 a month on OnlyFans, and I've seen girls do this. And I'm just like, we're not being realistic to think that we wouldn't do the same fucking thing. Okay, we wouldn't. No, obviously most girls are not going to make it. Most girls make $20 a week on OnlyFans, but they are less than $200 a month. Most girls actually, that's I think like the average, whatever it is. But the concept of like them doing that, I understand from an evolutionary standpoint why they're doing that. It just seems a lot easier. I'll just do this on OnlyFans, and then I'll just find a man. And like the thing is, I'll have a baby whenever, because I watched this show where this 40-year-old woman just had a baby, and so I'll have a baby at 40 because
the perception.
Because that's the perception. They don't ever show the $350,000 they spent on IVF in order to have a baby at 40, or the fact that the likelihood of you having a baby at 40 is like 5%. They don't care about that. What they care about is it happened for her, so it'll happen for me because it feels good. Right. And so I'm just going to weigh the short-term feeling against long-term statistics. And I'm not a statistic. All the things that Michael Sartain said, those things don't count for me. That's for everyone else, and that I'm not a statistic, and that shit doesn't matter. So we understand that concept. Like, and so what'll happen is you'll have these women, and they'll get into situations, and men too. They'll get into situations like what I'm saying is, I understand from an evolutionary standpoint why you would do the things that you do. If you're a woman and you have that ability to do it, it makes sense. We're not saying it's bad. Like, you're about to have risk-free sex. You don't need a man. We get that. Like, we totally understand that concept. The problem is what happens is later on in life, when you do want to have kids, you're not going to have the ability to do so. And then this weird thing happens, like I said before. Again, the guy who's 20, like they committed for the 10-year contract to Patrick Mahomes because he was 23 years old. But they won't commit like when, what's his face? Aaron Rodgers signed with the Jets. It was a 2-year deal. Or like a 1-year deal.
That was a 5-minute deal.
Yeah, it was a 5-minute deal. But that's why, though, right? Because even though he's good, they're good. But even though he's good, Aaron Rodgers, we know he's near the end. So these women who are now 35, they're like, you will not get the commitment from the alpha male that you're looking, from the high status man you're looking for, because of this thing that you overlooked.